Will Starfield make or break Bethesda Game Studios? Let's find out. Hello everybody, my name is Marsh, and so today I wanted to talk a little bit about the upcoming release of the game known as Starfield that is being created by Bethesda Game Studios. Now, of course, the title was a little bit clickbaity with will this make or break Bethesda, but honestly, I don't think it's that irrelevant to the current situation that Bethesda is in. And we'll go ahead and talk about that today. But if you could leave a like, subscribe, feel free to share this video. All those things would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Other than that, though, let's get started. Now, to start out, for those of you that aren't familiar with what Bethesda or Starfield is, Bethesda is a game studio, also a publisher, and they make multiple games. Their most famous series are Fallout and Elder Scrolls. The most recent release being Fallout 76, which was widely hated by a majority of fans, not all fans, but a lot of people were disappointed with that overall product when it came to Bethesda compared to their overall consistency and quality in previous games that they've made. Now, in terms of Starfield itself, that is the newest release that they have scheduled for 2023. And there are a few concerns I have when it comes to it, and a few things that I think Bethesda needs to take care of when it comes to Starfield itself. Along with that, I think that if Bethesda really messes this one up, it will not shine a great light on them, especially due to the recent controversies that they've had already in the past 10 years. So to start out, I want to talk about Starfield, some of my concerns in regards to just the game itself, and some things I'm excited about when it comes to it, and then we'll jump into what I think the impact of Starfield will be overall on Bethesda, whether it's positive or negative, depending on how the game releases and the overall sentiment that the public thinks about the game. Now, in regards to Starfield, I'll start out with a positive, always try to stay positive, and then we'll go into some of the more cons and worries I have. One of the things I'm excited about is to see a sci-fi take on a Bethesda game. Majority of Bethesda games are known to be these wide open world games where you can explore the environments, do what you want, let the story play out how you want. There's always a main storyline, but really the story is what you make of it yourself and on your adventure. I always considered like Skyrim, for example, to be fantasy GTA. That's the way I always looked at it. I do what I want when I want, have fun with it. The story's there if you want to have it. It's never really the main point in a Bethesda game, but it is there if you want to do that. Now with Starfield, that's one of the things I'm excited about as well, is continuing that Bethesda formula with Starfield. So, for example, doing it with a sci-fi game in a space environment. I know they mentioned there's thousands of planets to visit, so really the way that you go through the story, at least from the outskirts, seems endless, and the possibilities seem endless, which is not only exciting, but also kind of worrisome in a certain way, and we'll get into that later. But in terms of that, I'm excited to see how they tackle it, how they schedule certain things or make certain things planned and specific. I hope they take more of an open world route instead of a linear route, which it seems like they're doing, because I feel like sometimes, at least in more recent years, they've kind of like pushed it in a little bit more. And honestly, I think part of the magic of Bethesda is the openness. Now, talking about that vast openness, there is a concern I have, and I know many other people are concerned about it as well. They mentioned that there are procedurally generated planets. To be specific, thousands of procedurally generated planets. Now, on the outskirts looking in, that sounds amazing. 1,000 planets to explore and do whatever you want with. But in terms of storytelling and experiencing the world, it worries me because I know they're not going to be able to fill up all those planets with the life and the substance that I really want them to. I'd rather have one planet that is fully built out, fully thorough, lets me explore that planet fully, find every nook and cranny, every tiny story, every character I could see, than 1,000 planets that are dry and boring and have nothing on them. Now, one planet isn't enough in a space adventure, so let's say 5. I think 5 is a good amount, even 10 at maximum if we want to get crazy. Let me explore those planets, their cities, and let them be there. Now, what I hope Bethesda does, they don't really give us a lot of information, which I think is actually a detriment to this game, especially with the controversies of previous games and releases. I hope that they have about 10 planets that are thoroughly planned out and laid out for the characters that they have to visit to do certain story beats. And then the the procedurally generated ones are looked at more as like dungeons and places to explore, and there's certain things that are brought to them and certain like quests that are interesting, but they aren't the whole game. I think we need some structure. It can't be fully procedurally generated and just be hollow. That's what I'm worried about. Hopefully that's not it. It's kind of hard. It's really all speculation because Bethesda is always tight-lipped. They don't really give us any idea of what they're doing. They don't release trailers. They released the E3 trailer, and they haven't told us anything like since after that. And I think that's actually a bad plan when it comes to their marketing. It worked great with Fallout 4 because everyone was hyping up Fallout 4, and they were just waiting for it to be released. No one even knew if they were going to make a sequel. When it was announced, it was huge. That's all they had to show. They showed the gameplay, the trailer, boom, 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 it's good, release the game. And, I mean, it's controversial what a lot of people's opinions are of Fallout 4, but overall it was a success, I think. But in this game, with their recent failures, such as Fallout 76, and just doing, like, really grimy things like the Bethesda shop and everything like that, with paying, like, for mods and everything, it's just, they're doing a lot of tactics that people don't like anymore, and they're really becoming a greedy company. That's maybe a topic for another video. But I want to see them build out these worlds and not just have it be hollow. Another worry I have in terms of a Bethesda game is the combat. Combat has never been the greatest or the best, but I think that Bethesda's getting at the point now where it's not an excuse anymore. Before, you can overlook the janky combat or the like certain things that would happen in the game, glitches, because the world themselves were so amazing. What you could do in these worlds were so amazing with the technology that was around it compared to other games. You were able to overlook it. But I think in this day and age, watching their combat and everything is just a few steps behind. I think they honestly need to move on to a new creation engine because they're on the same one. It's a renovated version, but it still looks out of date. The graphics look somewhat out of date. And I think that's partly, if I remember correctly, they're going to be on both consoles. So it makes sense, but they need to step it up and do all that stuff. So it did worry me when I saw the gunplay and how they handled that. It's similar to Fallout's gunplay, but Fallout's gunplay doesn't need to be as strict and smooth because it's a post-apocalyptic world versus this is a sci-fi, presumably in the future, where technology is supposed to be better. So you would expect smoother gunplay and better overall look and experience, and that genuinely worries me. Now, one thing I did see when it came to the game itself that was somewhat of a positive is that of choice. I felt like the choice that they were showing in the trailers and what they've been talking about overall is a good thing. I think there was an issue with Fallout 4 when they tried to make the protagonist voiced. That took away a lot of like choice and control you had over your main character that you make in this game. And they tried to make it like a smooth narrative experience. They lowered the dialogue amounts. You only get 4 options. You press A, B, X, Y to choose them. Versus previous Fallout games or previous Elder Scrolls games, you have a whole list of things to choose from with different actions, different like routes you can take. Speech was more of an important thing to do in past games, versus they really lowered that dialogue in Fallout 4. So I think from what I've seen in the trailers, they're going back to what it was before, which is exciting. I hope they make speech important and make your choices important and impactful. Like in New Vegas, which I know wasn't them, that's Obsidian. You could become part of Kaiser's Legion. You could join the New California Republic. Like, there's factions and things you do, and choices matter. And I hope they really bring, like, choice back to it. And it looks like from the trailer they are doing that. They've at least listed that. Now, one thing that I'm a little iffy on that I didn't like in Fallout 4 was the base building. They're sort of bringing that back with the spaceships. Now, I think it's fun to customize your spaceships, and hopefully it's done well, and I'll enjoy it, but I didn't like the emphasis that they had on it in Fallout 4. I hope the emphasis on it isn't as big as in previous games as well, but we'll see what exactly happens with that. And hopefully the space combat overall is fluid. I don't think there's really any Bethesda games we get to fly around and do anything at all, so that's a big step actually when it comes to Bethesda, is just flying and driving things in general. I don't know if we're going to get to drive anything on land, but at least flying something is a new step for them. Outside of all these concerns, and if I seem overly negative, I'm not really. I'm still extremely excited for the game, and I want to see what they do, how they tackle it. It's just more coming out of a place of love, because Skyrim is one of my favorite games from my childhood, and I don't want to see them ruin it anymore. And this leads me to the overall impact I think Starfield can have on Bethesda. Now, Will they make or break Bethesda to where Bethesda's going to fall apart and never be making a game again if it doesn't sell well? No. Bethesda will be fine, and they'll continue making games. They're backed by Xbox. Xbox needs a return on investment. Hopefully the Xbox backing gets them to make games quicker, because that brings me to one of my next problems. I think a failed Starfield will not shine well on Bethesda. With the failure of Fallout 76 and the disappointment of Fallout 4, it wasn't a horrible game, but a lot of people were disappointed in it. It wasn't overall positive. The last true amazing Bethesda game we've had is Skyrim, and even then, it was in 2011. That's over 10 years ago. That's 12 years ago. And so the fact that they haven't made a sequel to Elder Scrolls 6, yes, it is at the detriment of Bethesda. And this game is being made in place of Elder Scrolls 6. And so, are you going to give us a banger? Are you going to make it an amazing game? Are people going to enjoy this game and love it as much as Fallout and Skyrim and Fallout and Elder Scrolls? I don't know. It's hard to say because there's so many sci-fi games out there. I don't know if Bethesda will really be able to plant their foot in this avenue and do it well, especially with the technology. And it basically seems like they were like a developer in their golden era was in the past. They've just gone slowly downhill and downhill ever since Skyrim, to be honest. And hopefully they destroy that trend, and this is an amazing game and we all love it. That would be amazing. And then we can get Skyrim's sequel or Elder Scrolls, I guess it'd be 6. Yeah, Elder Scrolls 6 after this, and that would be amazing. But remember, this game is delaying Elder Scrolls. What are you going to do about it, Bethesda? How is this going to matter to us fans? And what is its impact going to be to us? If you fail at this game, it will negatively impact you as a whole. People will still play the next Elder Scrolls game because of what Skyrim was. But your leash is a lot shorter. I don't know if you can get away with releasing trailers 6 months before a game comes out. Or even what you're doing with Starfield, saying it's going to come out in the first half of 2023, yet we haven't seen a release date yet. How is that not cause for concern? It's just leading me to believe that it's going to get delayed. You only have 4 months left in the first half of 2023. Where's the release date, Bethesda? Sorry if I sound negative, everyone. It's just what I'm thinking when it comes to the game. I want it to be good. I want it to be a success. I want us to all love and enjoy it. And I really hope it is. I hope Bethesda proves my worries and doubts wrong and makes it the best game ever and one that I love more than even Elder Scrolls. Who knows? But that's what I think on it so far. I think it could have the potential to actually damage the reputation of Bethesda even further, to where when future games come out, people won't trust them anymore. They'll turn into an EA or whatever developer throw them out there that is no longer in their prime. We'll have to wait and see. But what do you think about Starfield? Are you excited? Are you worried? What are your overall thoughts? Do you think Bethesda, like I think, has been slowly declining ever since Elder Scrolls 5? Or have you enjoyed their games? Let me know in the comments down below. If you could leave a like and subscribe, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, if you like this video, feel free to share it. That would help out the channel immensely. Other than that, though, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate your time. Bye-bye.